Champion gold. Compendium. If you're somehow confused what we're doing, what we're talking about, I guess in our circle we get this. This is the most elite survey questionnaire ever. Normally, what people do, what we've been doing in battle rap for this entire time, you put up a Twitter poll and say, yo, I think this person's going to win. Simple as that. They didn't watch the battle. They don't know about the battle. Before you can even discuss or answer or give a take, you got to pass a quiz. You got to at least know what bar this Nitty said, what bar A Ward said. You understand? And after that, you finally can say what percentage he's at in this. How good is he at in that? And then you rank it against his opposition. Pardon me. With that being said, on the screen right now is Nitty versus A Ward. Let's talk about it. Can y'all see it?
How? Yeah, and how is Nitty's performance higher than A Ward? Somebody let me know right now. Somebody explain it to me.
Out the gate. Oh boy.
Well, okay. So we have to go off of performance is. It can be utilized in a small room, but we have to go off of what we've seen on big stages. And if we're comparing the big stage performances of Nitty compared to A Ward's sample size is pretty small. Like we see the Ill Will battle, we've seen the Rosenberg battle. Even if you want to go all the way back, it wasn't really a stage, but it was a big platform when he battled DNA on the Blackout or whatever, and it battled Sharon. Then you have to compare Nitty against K-Shine, Nitty against Serve, Nitty against T-Top, Nitty against Rex, Nitty against so when we're talking about performance, we have to also go off of what we've seen, and I feel like Nitty has performed at a higher rate on those big stages in comparison to A Ward.
Hold on. You explaining yourself. I think the question is, why do you have A Ward over Nitty in performance? Just playing devil's advocate, you go now. What sample size you grabbing from to say that A Ward is over Nitty in performance?
When I'm talking performance, I am literally talking about you are captivating the crowd. Like you are, you are just, you're moving on, like you're just floating on the stage.
Yes, keep going.
Doing all that. Nitty, literally, he is rapping his ass off, and I'm not going to take that away from him. His punches are crazy. A Ward be floating on that stage, and we talking performance.
But examples? Hold on, examples?
He only named 3 battles.
And Nitty moves around the stage.
Nitty moves around the stage, but I don't see it.
His whole second round where he does the whole buck stuck in shine, deer in the head.
I was about to use that. And
then even the clips battle where Gun Butt busts the hype man like Spliff Star,
Souvenirs.
This pumpkin spit in this New York.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. I don't know why.
This pumpkin spit on this New York.
I'm not seeing it like that, though. I'm not seeing it. And what y'all saying is making sense 100%. I just don't see it as that's performance. I'm seeing it as that is the craziest haymaker today.
Which is part of performance.
He's rocking it. But I'm talking about performance. I even throw, because the Rebuttal's not on there no more. Can y'all hear me?
It actually is, so I want to say this, too. We did a survey for Rebuttal. A Ward definitely won the rebuttal category.
Of course he did.
It's not a question.
But I put rebuttal in the performance category. Like that, you're rocking the building with something somebody else said. You let me flip it and let me rock this building and float. And I'm seeing what y'all saying. I even my favorite performance thing from Nitty is him against Chef Trez, the caveman walking up like a caveman.
This is Human Evolution. That was fire.
Yeah, Human Evolution. That was fire. He even walked into it. That's fire to me. But when it comes to performance, I'm not seeing it. But what y'all saying might sway me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. It makes sense what y'all saying.
I definitely think that
I wouldn't have A Ward. I would definitely still have A Ward over Nitty in performance.
All right, I didn't want to sway you too bad. This is what Rex was talking about. This is how I be swaying y'all. Shout out to T-Rex.
You didn't sway me. They swayed.
Okay, thank you. They did, not me.
I spoke up immediately.
You hear that, Rex?
I'm about to say I spoke up immediately because I just
I ain't sway nobody.
if you want to say like, and my thing is like, if you're saying A Ward has a better performs better than Nitty, what are we going off of? He doesn't have that many like. He hasn't been on a stage enough to for us to even say that he can perform better than Nitty. Like Nitty has given us a whole full blown like even against Av, right? That was a sizable stage because Born Legacy is considered a small room, even though it's hella people in there. Even the MOP, your ante up is a performance bar. Like, so I don't know. I don't see how you could like definitively say A Ward has better performance than Nitty. I don't see it.
I do think though a lot of it does have to do with the fact that Rum Nitty has a larger sample size. No one's going to say that A Ward is not a great performer because clearly he is, but he just doesn't. He hasn't had the opportunities to perform over the. I mean, Nitty's catalog is fucking massive. Like Nitty is such a like his catalog is so massive that he has every type of battle and every type of environment. A Ward just doesn't have that yet. But I think to Justin's point, from what we do see him on big stage, him versus Geechee, him versus Ill Will, him versus even other small room battles, him versus DNA, him versus Rebuttals as a classic example of something that's a little bit different, especially if it's going to be on a big stage. But we just don't have the sample size, to your point, Lang, where I don't think we have enough data to say that Ward is a better performer than Nitty. With that in mind, I do think that the discrepancy of 3 points is a testament to A Ward. The fact that it is close and we still don't have enough sample size, I think shows how good of a performer that A Ward actually is.
Even with that, it's just like I don't know, man, because it's just like even if you take A Ward's best performative efforts, I still don't know if it measures up to Nitty's best performative efforts. That's why it's like really hard for me to even think that A Ward is above Nitty in terms of performance. But that's just.
I think it's close. I do have Nitty, but I do think it's close. I think a lot of A Ward's performance does come from his rebuttals. I do think that him having the ability to do that in the moment, to Justin's point, does contribute to his performance. But to your point, like second round versus T-Top, second round versus Shine, I could keep every round versus Av. I could keep
his second round versus Twerk, where he does the spud web dunk as a rebuttal. Like, yeah.
And I was actually again watching a battle from both. From both of these MCs, I actually decided to watch a 2-on-2. I don't know why, but I felt like because I just randomly found the 2-on-2 of EFB and NWX, and then I watched the most recent 2-on-2 from A Ward and Loso against MVP and KD, which is a phenomenal battle. If people in the chat have not seen that battle's great. I really enjoyed that battle. Rum Nitty performs in 2-on-2s like he's going crazy. Like it's like the what is it? Your mom about to have Tupac rumors, fucking Faith. Like that's like, and Nitty's even that's almost a throwaway line, but Nitty's
or even I'll watch Sean like Tupac in the tub where he does the whole that's what I'm saying. Like you can pick A Ward's best performative moments. I still don't know if it measures up to Nitty's best performative moments. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I don't see it.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just saying that I do think it is. I think it's 5 points or less. I don't think Nitty is a crazy performer. He's not Shine. He's not, performing. That's not something that he relies on to win battles, and neither does A Ward. So I do think it's a 5 point discrepancy, which is why I'm kind of like I can see it. But I do, to your point, Lang, I do give it to Nitty.
Yeah, I thought it was close too myself. I gave 80 to Ward and 90 to Nitty.
Okay.
Yeah. I am going to also kind of talk about one thing that I think is going to be a really important thing here, which is, especially on this chart, there's a lot of huge discrepancies, not unlike the last compendium, but the discrepancy in structure I think is actually really important, and I think it's actually going to be one of the things that in this battle in particular where A Ward is going to excel, because he's going to have the opportunity to use a thing that he's really good at, which is taking a whole concept, taking a whole idea, and then making it go crazy, and filling it in with incredible flow patterns and rhymes and multis and doubles but he's all doing it based around one particular idea, which is why he also wins the category in tailored. So I do think that Nitty flipping A Ward's name for 3 rounds, although it might be crazy, it might be fire, I think on the watch back, it's not going to translate as well if A Ward is performing at the level that I think he's going to perform at. But I think that Nitty is definitely going to punch A Ward's head off. I don't think anyone thinks different.
Yeah, I want to. I actually would say one black. If you could add Malcolm back up, I think he got locked out, so he touched me to add him back up. And then secondly, this is the most accurate, I think, of any of the numbers. I scored almost everything 90-90 when I was going down, and it speaks to something else. And I know this is big expectations to kind of give a battle, any battle, but Ward reminds me just so much of like a Christian Iron Solomon. I mean, there's so many things.
Christian Iron Solomon.
So many things between Iron and Ward that I just believe are similar traits. The well-roundedness, some of the things they do with their pen. Iron does double and triple layered schemes. You got Ward rapping backwards, and I could see this battle possibly living into the shoes of like a Nitty versus Iron 2.0, where you're just going to have a complete preference battle down the middle, where 2 completely different styles of battle rap are 10 out of 10. And as for the numbers, maybe for rapping ability, I might give a point or 2 more to Ward. That might be recency bias after seeing his Reed performance, that he was rapping his ass off. So maybe that's that. But everything else here, where the discrepancies are, I think we knew that obviously, as Tito said a second ago, Ward definitely comes more of an approach-based battler, so he's going to win the structure and tailored category. And then as for Nitty, I believe he won bars and creativity by about 10. And not to say that Ward's not creative, he got a good score, but we know that when it comes to particularly bars, this is probably, in my opinion, the most creative bar-for-bar history. Going to really pick apart here. I'm just expecting a super amazing preference classic, and I'm expecting them to both be so good that by even just talking about the winner, we're talking about both of them in a highlight.
J-Bug, I have a question that you might know the answer to at the top of your head.
Talk to me.
The last couple of battles of the year from Champion, what leagues were they on?
The last couple battles
of the year. So, like, last year was what?
URL.
And the year before that?
I mean, listen, we're not going to sit here and penalize me because they throw a whole bunch of events.
No. I'm
URL.
Point.
URL.
Okay. I say that to say that I think that the bat of the year this year will not be a URL battle.
Oh,
it
okay.
will be this battle.
Woo!
Rum Nitty has the makings of the best battle this year. And I think, to Jay's point, like, bro, if this battle is close to Iron versus Rum, like we are, like I've said it multiple times, that's my favorite battle of all time. That's my favorite. I fucking love that battle, dude. And I think that one of the things and one of the areas in why that battle is so good is because it's both of them doing. When I say them, I'm talking about Iron and Rum doing what they do at the highest possible level. Rum is punching at a level to Iron that I hadn't heard up until that point. Rum is going interstellar, and Iron is showing a well-roundedness that very few MCs I've seen been able to produce within 3 rounds. And I think that's just one of the things where Ward has the ability to do that, especially on a big stage, especially when it comes to, Rum is going to have a crazy punch or 2 or 3 in a particular round that's just going to blow the roof off the place. A Ward's going to have a rebuttal every round. So it's just this has all the makings of having a battle of the year. And if this goes the way I hope it does, I think it will. This is probably going to be the battle of the year.
One thing I wanted to say is I feel like this battle is so huge, just because, for one, right, A Ward's run that he's had the past couple of years, and this year in particular, right, I feel like he's practically been flawless this year. On Nitty's side, right, I feel like this is one of, if not Nitty's biggest battle thus far. I know a lot of people love his battle versus Danny, but that was a rematch. And I feel like there weren't that much stakes going into that battle. I feel like there's a lot of stakes going into this battle. I think the motivation factor is there for Nitty. He's probably promo a lot more than I'm used to him doing. He just released a clip earlier today, pretty much mimicking A Ward or whatever. And he's even went on limb saying, like, I know A Ward rebuttals pretty well, but I can rebuttal too. So that's already showing you how serious Nitty is taking this battle.
But it should he even try to rebuttal with A Ward is the question.
No, he shouldn't. But at the same time, it's like he's like the same way that Nitty he shouldn't rebuttal with A Ward. A Ward shouldn't try to punch with Nitty, which I don't think A Ward was going to go into the battle doing that. But I still feel like at the end of the day, when you go against a Rum Nitty, like the only way to beat a Rum Nitty, it's very hard to beat him bar for bar. You have to beat him through preference. And I feel like if Nitty is himself, plus he has at least one rebuttal that shakes the room, I'm not going to say that's going to, pick my winner, but I know how optics look. And if Nitty's able to land at least one or two rebuttals that maybe doesn't even have to be as good as A Ward's rebuttals, but high quality, that could really help him. And I'm looking at it from the aspect of, like, again, this is like Nitty's biggest battle since the Hollow battle, damn near. Because he hasn't really had that many major plates since then. And I feel like he knows that. And I feel like he's going to take this battle 100% serious. And for A Ward, this is a huge battle. And again, one thing I want to highlight is that this is also back on the ride, but it's going to be in Atlanta, so it's pretty neutral. And last time A Ward was in Atlanta, outside of like the Rosenberg battle, he stole the show with him in Ill Will. So there's a lot of particular things that go into this battle that make this battle like potential classic county. I love this battle, and I love how the results are looking. I feel like it's pretty accurate. I do have a question about ring IQ though. I can understand someone saying that, like, A Ward has better ring IQ just because he kind of implements certain things into, like, in terms of battling tactics. But I don't know if it's, I don't know. Like, I don't know if, like, Nitty sits at an 84 though, if that makes sense. I kind of wanted to gauge like why he's sitting at an 84.
So if we just broke down between Sue Surf and JC, we broke down why Surf deserves to be that high ring IQ. What does Nitty apply in that category? Like, what does he do to make you think that he's higher in ring IQ?
I don't think he's higher. I just thought that he would be like maybe because like the way I see it, I feel like Nitty is just him. Like he goes into the ring and he does what he does at a very high level. Yeah. I think his bars are very smart, but in terms of the tactical approach, I don't think he really I don't think there's a thing where he sequenced certain things to get reaction, or he, you know what I'm saying, like tries to pick on a certain topic knowing that, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if anything, I think it should be a wider gap. That's the point I was making.
So you're saying he should be? You think A Ward should be higher?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually agree with that.
He don't even have to be higher, but I feel like the gap should be a little bit wider, just because, like, again, not to say Nitty doesn't have the capability of doing certain things, taking a tactical approach.
I agree.
Nitty goes into the battle and does what he does at a very high level.
He doesn't need the IQ in the ring to get his win, as opposed to A Ward. Again, I seen a clip. I seen a battle where the guy is on his side and he makes the guy move and then he pivots off of that. That's the ring IQ right there.
Yeah.
Like,
and I feel like in order for him to have like an 84, that means that he was averaging somewhere between an 80 and a 90. Yeah. And I was just kind of trying to figure out like how that was the case. Which I'm not like again. That's the only nitpick thing I got because we have to be kind of meticulous when it comes to stuff like this, But yeah, that was the only thing I really wanted to highlight because again, and honestly, that's a testament to him because if Nitty is able to beat people just off of his punching and rapping, that's more of that's merit in his greatness. You know what I'm saying? So
now the one thing I want to point out too that we had a situation where it was like Calico and Easy the Block Captain. You see, I think Easy had 89 plus. So, rapping ability, they're kind of tied, but A Ward won by the smallest margin, so he has a plus. But they're basically tied.
I
gave
think
him the
that's
plus.
Correct.
Which side? Which side do you think is wrong?
I think A Ward should be a couple points above Nitty. I think
in rapping ability.
Yes, A Ward, because the thing is about Ward is that even though he's not punching or has crazy setup or crazy bars like Nitty. A Ward's variety of flows and pockets that he gets in when he gets into different schemes or angles or topics is much more varied than Rum, because he just has a wider breadth of flows, and I think he also uses those flows to fill in different rhyme patterns. That's where he gets all of his multis. That's where he gets all of his multisyllabic rhyme patterns that he likes to do towards the later half of his battles. I definitely think that. Even though Rum obviously is a phenomenal writer, can rap, has probably the best consistent level of bars that I've ever heard from an MC. I think that his delivery and his flow patterns, he has maybe, a set number of flows that he uses to fill in those gaps, whereas Ward just has a wider breadth of them, and he uses them in each situation. I don't think it should be a crazy gap, but them being tied. When Ward clearly has a wider breadth of flows and deliveries than Rum, that doesn't make sense to me. That was going to be the other thing I brought up because I just don't see it. I don't see how they're tied. I don't think Rum should be any lower.
Yeah, I if I could comment on, I agree with that. I touched on that earlier as well. That I do think that Nitty is a little underrated in terms of his pockets. I mean, for the most part, he does have this straightforward, aggressive approach. But I think even if you look recently at the Danny Myers rematch, the DNA where he mixed up the.
No, your mic.
Can you all hear me?
Repeat that last 10 seconds. You're breaking up again. You're breaking up.
I was just gonna say that I agree too. But I will say that Nitty early on in his career used to use a myriad of different rapping flow pockets. But I do think now that Ward is way more varied and when it comes to certain flow patterns and stuff like that. So I kind of do agree with that sentiment. But I do think that early on, Nitty did get into to those certain pockets. In the Iron Solomon battle, the Shop of Horror build-up was kind of insane. So.
Yeah, I just think I don't think Rum should be any lower. I think 85 to 88 is around where it should be. But Ward is he comes up with a new flow every battle, damn near. That second verse read is insane.
Oh my god.
He has 5 different pockets in that one round, and which again, is just a very and that's that's one round. He has 5 different pockets of flows in one round, and that second verse, that to go back to Ring IQ, that round would have hit in Philly.
Yeah,
that's how crazy.
I always say that. I always say that.
So I don't think Rum should be any lower than 87 or 85, somewhere in that range. I definitely think Rum does. All of his pockets are effective. They do what they do, and they accomplish the goal, which is punching your head off. But Ward clearly at this point is utilizing a wider variety of flows and rhyme patterns. You just watch any battle in the last 2 years. I just don't. And so that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Now, how do y'all feel about this pretty large gap in creativity? 96 from Nitty, 87.
I mean, I don't feel no way because Nitty literally says stuff we've never heard before.
I agree.
Every battle he says something we've never heard before. And not even to cut you off, but get this out. I've heard Holmesy say Nitty's at a disadvantage because he says something so crazy every battle that now we just downplay it because he's well, it's Nitty. like it don't make no sense what Nitty be coming up. I feel like it's an A-Ward flip that's gonna come out this battle that we're gonna lose our mind on. Like, how did nobody else think of that?
At least one.
I don't. It's gonna be crazy, but I do feel like A-Ward should be maybe a little higher. But as far as the gap, I don't know, man.
I don't think 87. I don't think 87 is bad for A-Ward's creativity, because you got to think 90 means like elite, and I think an 88, 89 range or 87 is not terrible. I think Black was more talking about the gap, which again, like I said, I think the gap should kind of be that because, Nitty literally says stuff that we never heard before, or he will touch on a particular topic from a different light, like use a bar in a different way, or similar, like something as simple as him saying, "You say you're gonna beat me to death. You're right. He died first." Something as simple as that.
Oh my God.
It's right at the tip of our fingers, but nobody's ever said it, and that's what really separates his creativity from an A-Ward or something like that.
That's still the hardest line I've ever heard. I don't give a shit, bro. That's
debatably the best line of his career, which is crazy in a career of that many haymakers. But I also want to comment and just say that I think the gap in that stat says more about Nitty than it does about Ward. I don't think it should be used as an indictment like Ward is this much lower. I think Ward is actually more creative concept-wise. We talk about the rhyme pockets, some of the approaches. The man can rap a 16 backwards, word for word. So those are all extremely creative. But in terms of Nitty's pen, it's there's no need to double down. We understand how good it is and how creative he is with the concepts. He's become the poster child for probably creativity within your punching references. So it's more about Nitty being that great than it is about Ward being below him in any way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I noticed some people in the comments under the compendium. And by the way, this is Executive Dave. I popped in late. Good afternoon.
I was like, where you at for JC? I was waiting for JC.
And you know what? I'm disappointed that I missed it because, see, I saw the Patreon email and it said Executive Suite at 4. So I was looking forward to it. And, I jumped on and I didn't see anything.
I was 15 minutes.
25, I ain't see nothing. So I just did some other stuff. And then I saw another Patreon email where I believe it was the results of the compendium we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And it said we're live in the spaces. I'm like, damn, let me jump on. So yeah, I am disappointed that I missed all that, but I mean, I'm not gonna try to make you guys go back and repeat everything. I missed it. It is what it is. So
I'll post it. I'll post it for you.
Okay, that's a bet. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I noticed a couple of people in the comments on Patreon saying this is the first 100 I've ever given out. And so my only point was, as far as with this creativity thing, I gave Nitty a 100 on creativity, and I gave JC a 100 on creativity for the same exact reason. They both say things I've never heard before. They both say things that still boggles my mind as a college-educated man. So both of them, to me, are the most creative. Maybe Daylight can be in there, but I think those two are definitely the most creative with the bars.
Okay.
Can I say something about creativity real quick?
Go ahead.
What about freestyling for creativity for A-Wood? Because I gave A-Wood like a 90 for creativity because I'm including his freestyles and rebuttals.
Well, one thing I will say about A-Ward, which it is very creative, but again, it's so creativity is pretty much I wouldn't say prioritized, but it primarily entails like you coming up with like an original idea, and if a haymaker's coming off of what someone else said and you're kind of rehashing it, that doesn't make it less creative, but it kind of takes away from that creative aspect to a degree with it being a rebuttal.
I thought it was a whole separate category for a rebuttal. Am I tripping?
No, it is.
It is. A-Ward have won that.
It was too much of a disparity. It was way too big of a disparity.
Yeah. A lot of battle rappers don't rebuttal. And A-Ward is literally one of the best ones, so he's going to win that, like, clearly. And he did.
The best today.
I mean, I wouldn't argue because he does compound rebuttaling.
I'm about to say compound.
He might be the best ever, to be honest. But
hold on, that takes time to verify. So I'm gonna leave that alone for now.
But
I'm just saying.
One thing I wanted to say is that like someone mentioned, the fluidity in his rebuttals don't even sound like rebuttals. He don't even say you said this. to even like show this a rebuttal. We don't realize, sometimes we don't know it. We don't even realize it's a rebuttal until he finishes the bar that kind of connects to what the other person said. Like even the Clay more on more Clay against Will, like
Yeah.
that was he probably
Compound.
rapped 4 to 8. He probably rapped 4 to 8 bars to even get to the Clay more on more Clay. And like, it was a whole flow pattern that he did that made it sound like it was a written. Like that is insane. So he gets creativity in terms of, like he gets creativity for his rebuttals, but the only point I was just like trying to highlight is that a part of creativity is original content. And if you're kind of rehashing something that someone already said in the round, you know, it kind of, you know, but
I'll give you a suit, you Deshaun Watson. Oh my god. Oh, that's crazy. That whole battle is fire too. That's why it was fire, by the way, because they both can do that.
Yeah.
Will and A-Ward can do that. But I definitely think another thing as well, because the creativity. I do, to your point, the gap I think is correct. I definitely think that like Rum Nitty's, like we've already said, we don't need to say it anymore. But I like to stress, 87 is that's a top tier score. Like if I could have given I would have given A-Ward like not quite a 90, like an 89 or an 88, but like it's that's a top tier score for creativity because again, to your point, A-Ward is conceptually very creative. The rebuttals contribute to his creativity. You know, his schemes are creativity, but I think that there's just a lot of ways that A-Ward could win this battle. And Rum Nitty, the reason why Rum Nitty, like everyone's over the moon about Rum Nitty, and rightfully so, is because Rum Nitty usually only wins battles one way, but he does it so well that nobody can stop him. So it's like Tyson, like you're only gonna lose with one shot, but you can't stop him.
I do have a question.
Talk to me.
And it's an out there question. So A-Ward's impact is 83, right? And my question is, do y'all think that, because the way I thought about it, because I kind of scored him kind of high, I've never seen somebody everybody wants to see on another platform than A-Ward. Like, literally every battle, anybody battles, like, well, when does A-Ward come to URL? Like, I've never seen one person everybody wants him to be on this, like, thing. I feel like his impact in every other, like, smaller leagues and everything is just, like, it's incredible that there's one battle, it's 1 million battlers out here. I think they put out a number, it's like 400,000 battlers out here. It's this one person we want on URL out of anybody else. And I feel like that's got to do with impact. Am I tripping on thinking about that?
I disagree.
But the way that we're describing impact, like we did before, we're talking about what is done in the ring or what is said in the ring. And that kind of like transcends just the actual battle itself. I get what you're saying in terms of impact holistically. Obviously, come on, A-Ward is like the talk of the town most of the time just because of how great he is. But in terms of in the ring, I think that's kind of why like it's pretty much displayed the way it is. Because in the ring, like I feel like A-Ward should be higher. I do think that he's always going to shake the room, whether it's with the rebuttal or whether it's with the written. Because the one thing that I don't want us to do, which I know we're not doing, we're not saying that like A-Ward is only the rebuttal guy. Like I know a lot of people think like, oh, like he's really great at freestyling, so he gets put in that lane. He's a really good writer as well. So I want to highlight that too. But I would say that I do think A-Ward's rating could be a lot higher, maybe 86, 87-ish. But even still, I feel like Nitty would have to be like a decent like number away from A-Ward, because literally there's a chance that Nitty could literally have bar of the battle, bar of the night, bar of the event or whatever every time he steps on the stage. So
100%. I didn't want to talk about anybody thing with Nitty. I want Nitty's score. Nitty's score is great. I was just saying for A-Ward. And what you're saying, if we're talking ring, just basically in the ring based off impact, then what you're saying makes sense. Even though we are, like Jay just said, we're already maybe considering A-Ward the greatest rebuttaler of all time. And he ain't been here that long. He's already getting like those accolades. I feel like that's impact in itself. If we're talking in the round, I just feel like it should be higher, in my opinion. I feel like it should be.
It like definitely should be higher either way.
Yeah, I see what y'all saying. With me, like I see how impact goes. Like for the most part, right? I actually ended up scoring both of them with a 90. I gave Nitty a 90 for impact. I gave Ward a 90 for impact, but I gave them 90s for different reasons. So I'm just listening, and I'm kind of agreeing with what you just said. The reason I gave Nitty a 90 is because he is the best puncher. It is what it is. So he's impacted the game as far as punchlines go, the same way Magic did, same way Khan did. Okay, now with A Ward, the reason why I also gave him a 90 was because, for the reason you just said, he's impacted the game so strong that everyone, no matter what league you're a part of, everyone wants to see A Ward on URL because he's so good. And we want to see him versus the best competition. And, you know, a lot of times we believe that the best competition is on URL. So I just feel like with him making this much noise without playing in the quote-unquote NBA, he's already impacted the game. His name will be there regardless. And so I agree that maybe he shouldn't be as high, but I'm fine with 83 and 92. Like, I'm good with that.
One question.
I just had something. I had A Ward impact bigger than Nitty. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm bugging. But he said it best. A Ward don't have to go on URL. He got all the URL battles coming to him on any league. You don't ever have to step on the URL platform, right? And I'm just saying, Nitty battles be coming and going. He had Gaddis, he had Danny. He lost to Swamp, but most of them battles just came and went.
I disagree. I'll wait for y'all to be done now.
I disagree too.
I mean, to me personally, I'm just saying it's my opinion. I think impact for Nitty is diminishing and A Ward is going higher. And that's why I had A Ward a little bit higher than Nitty as far as the impact. That impact for bars and creativity for Nitty, I definitely give it that. But just for impact currently on the culture, I have to give it to A Ward. To the fact that he's having Nitty battling him, not on the URL platform, but on the Riot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's the discrepancy right there. I think we're just like when it comes to impact, which we kind of had the same discrepancy before. There's in the ring. I mean, there's in the ring and there's outside of the ring. And me, I'm looking at it from an in the ring aspect, is in like what they do in the ring. That's why I can comfortably say that Nitty sits at a comfortable 90 compared to A Ward. So one question I had though was.
Well, but before we get to that question, I really want to jump in with the URL thing and A Ward. I kind of said this during the Champion of the Year. And shout out to A Ward. I felt like Loso was a heavy favorite, or people that really wanted to see him go to URL. I felt like B Dot as well, right? I feel like the only reason why we have the notch up for A Ward is because he won't go. That's the whole. I feel like with Loso, right? It was negotiations, and within months it got done. So that whole hype around him switching over died down because he joined. Same with B Dot. But now that we're years removed, this has been going on since what, 2020 at the earliest, or 2019, and he's still not here in 2022.
He was on volume 3. He was on volume 3 in 2018, and that's when the speculation began.
Oh yeah. So from 2018 to 2022. So it's just like he's getting credit for not going. Like how much points do you give for not? I mean, that does sound crazy. I don't think so. So like every year you get a whole bunch of credit for not going.
I mean, I don't necessarily.
And it repeats 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 for simply just not like, because we're challenging Rum Nitty's impact, right? It's A Ward's impact because he's not going to battle on URL. I don't think that makes sense to me, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Oh, I mean, they over there with that. I'm not doing that.
I'd rather if we're gonna ever question or compare the impact, if we're going that way for things that happen, I just use his battles. Use his ill will. Let's use ill will. Let's use stuff like that. Let's use the fact that he's one of the best rebuttalers ever. I want to use things like that. I just don't want to use. Oh, he didn't battle on URL.
Right, but the thing is,
that's what I was thinking about, like him versus Reed.
Let's say him versus Reed. Let's use that. Fire.
Yeah, but you have to acknowledge
even him versus Clean was one of the more talked about results of the GTX card.
Yep. Well, hold on, we hold on. We have a champion member here. Our War has finally popped up. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. You know what I'm doing. I'm sure you hear Crystal Bear's tablet in the background.
Okay.
But yeah, the thing, like I see both sides of the coin. If Mayweather and Pacquiao never would have fought, that asterisk will always be there. And I think that's what happens with A Ward. His talent is his talent. And while he does get some of those, the top guys, the thing is there. And I mean, whether it's fair or not, it is what it is. These guys don't give 110% elsewhere sometimes. That the impact of it, though, I think, when you talk about in the ring, out the ring, you don't get points for not battling someone, in my opinion. Like, that's not an impact thing. It's more so, like what you've done. A Ward, the round that he had versus O-Red, when he was doing like the reverse
fire, yeah.
Fire. Like, that's impact. I can't think of somebody that did that prior to. I'm not saying it does.
DNA.
Shout out to France. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. DNA did that?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Shout out to my guy DNA, man. Another URL guy. But no, I'm just kidding. At the end of the day, though, A Ward he's definitely one of them guys. I think you can't, and I don't think Nitty's impact is diminishing at all. I don't know who said that. The thing with Nitty is, again, he does what he does so great that his bar, where you want to see everybody show up 100%, subconsciously we want Nitty to show up 120%, and then 125%, and then the next time 130. His bar, his goalpost always moves simply because of how amazing he is. He's cursed with that gift, but I don't think his impact is diminishing. I mean, he gets these battles, and no matter what, I'll speak for myself. I'm always tuned in when it's a Nitty battle.
Yeah, I can agree. I agree with everything Anwar's just said. Go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say, to add, if we're talking impact in and out of the ring, the accolade game, also when we talk resume, we're talking about a guy that run Nitty, where not just because it's URL, but because it is a major event. We're talking about a guy with 4 plus appearances on SM and Gnome, I believe. One of, I believe, 8 battlers ever to have multiple headlines of that event. And at the end of the day, it's a big ticket matchup no matter where he pops out at. And even though in battle rap, especially in like this diehard nature, where we're all, that we know the A-Ward topic is the biggest, I still think that branching out even to the casual fan, if either of these guys get booked, Nitty's bringing, I just believe is bringing more eyes to it as well, naturally. So that's another reason. But I do agree that it should be a little bit closer. I still have Nitty by about 5-6 points, but pretty much every point for both sides I really liked. So
the one question I had, which is kind of what I wanted to lead into. One, how do we feel about Nitty not being the favorite to win? Because that rarely happens. And
you're welcome.
And 2,
you should be grateful.
Yeah, that's definitely a good. That's definitely.
You're welcome, Nitty.
Yeah, no, it is a good thing for Nitty.
Finally.
And 2, I just kind of wanted to know who everyone had winning. Well, and I can go first, honestly, because I love setting the tone.
Rock out.
So when I look at this battle, right, I have to look at it from a holistic standpoint. Like I mentioned before, this is probably Nitty's, biggest plate thus far this year. Like I said, he had the Danny battle, but that was a rematch, so that was big in terms of like a historical sake, but not in terms of like, just the ramifications and the magnitude of the situation. A lot of people say that Nitty has issues with people that are a little bit more well-rounded. They use examples like the John battle, even Iron Solomon, even though that's a classic battle, people say that like Nitty met his match because Iron Solomon was so well-rounded and stuff like that. So I still feel like he's fighting that stigma to a degree. And then you have A Ward, right? A Ward is like the pretty much the independent guy who's making his rounds and hanging there with the best in the world. But the thing that kind of enables me to say that Nitty is going to win is that I've never seen Nitty this motivated for a battle in a long time. I know that like he had the hollow battle last year, but that was also off the heels of him winning a tournament, which he was doing 2 weeks back to back, and he had a battle in between. So by the time he met Hollow, he was already fatigued. This is a different situation where he's pretty much well rested. This is on, one of his good friends' league, and on top of that, again, this is one of the biggest plays that he's faced, is going to get this year or has gotten this year, and I feel like he is just motivated to show that he can beat any type of battler with his style. I know A Ward is more versatile. I know he has a great way of flipping the crowd because of his rebuttaling tactics, but I think at the end of the day, Nitty is going to say some of the most incredible stuff we've ever said, and that's going to stick with us more than A Ward flipping his line, because at the end of the day, we're going to remember the line that Nitty said for A Ward to feel like he had to do a rebuttal in the first place. So with all that being said, I have Nitty 2-1 in a very, very close battle, and I think it's also going to be a preference-based battle too.
I will go next. I also have A Ward. Well, you said Nitty. I have A Ward 2-1. I just feel like what we talked about kind of goes into why. It's just different things that A Ward does at the moment.
Yo, hold on. You sound like A Ward, bro.
I am. Yeah, I'm A Ward sports post.
Okay, you sound like. Hold on, you sound like A Ward. Hold on, what's going on? Hold on, what's going? Did you infiltrate Champion Gold, my guy? Go ahead, though.
So yeah, I got A Ward 2-1, and to his question, the reason why so many people have A Ward winning is the old adage. I know Jay Black has said, I know Anwar has said it. What have you done for me lately? Is keys to why people pick certain things. And like we said the other day, A Ward is the talk of the town. Like Easy the Block captain. I don't see people picking any battle of Easy Block take. People are gonna pick Easy the Block captain to win. Right now, A Ward is in that bag. He's just hot right now, and I'm not gonna go against his streak right now. Do I think Nitty's gonna punch A Ward's head off? Of course I do. But I think just overall, everything that A Ward's gonna do and the rebuttals that's gonna hit and his different flows that he's gonna get into and the different things he's gonna do is just gonna, on the watch back for sure, it's gonna take him over the edge to 2-1.
I'll go next.
Next.
Yeah, I'm surprised that folks picking Nitty to lose. That's news to me. But I do have Ward 2-1 and a close one. Just A Ward a little bit more well-rounded. He's going to hit some kind of freestyle over Nitty. One of Nitty crazy bars that's going to give him an edge in one round. Then one round just going to be an angle round that's going to just, to me, be a little bit more preference to him winning. And Nitty going to have that one round just full of stuff that we never heard before. They're just going to give him the round. So I got A Ward 2-1 and a close one.
I guess I'll just reiterate what I said last week. I feel like it really can go either way. But I do give the edge to Ward, basically for the reasons that the gentleman before just mentioned. So, I got a 2-1 either way. I'm not really standing on either of them to win. I think either one of them can win. I just feel like after the battle is over, we'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I think Ward got that.
I also have A Ward, but I actually probably would have had Nitty up until the Reed Dollars battle. The Reed Dollars battle did a lot for me, to be honest. The second round specifically, as I mentioned already, I just thought that was such an incredible round coming in from A Ward that I think is it's at least for me personally, it's up there, and it's not my round of the year quite yet, but it's definitely in my top 5 rounds of the year. I think that round is incredible. But I have A Ward 2-1, very, very close. I would not put Monopoly dollars on this. Like I already said it already. I'm gonna say it again. This is my contender for Battle of the Year. I just think that Ward has more ways to win than Nitty, but that's the case with every Nitty battle. But I think it's going to be very, 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 very close. To Lane's point, I think it's just going to come down to preference, and I just hope this battle is as great as I think we all hope it is.
Yeah, and I'll go next.
Go ahead. I'm going last. Go right on ahead.
All right, I have Nitty 2-1 edge. I believe, as Malcolm said earlier, I think one of the old adages in battle rap is all around or approach beats punching. And there is examples like Swamp and John, which are 2 battles that I do have him losing. But for battles like that, I could point you to a Briz or a T-Top where he faced someone that is also extremely more well-rounded than him, and he still walked away with a W, in a lot of people's opinions, or at least, maybe debatable. I've watched him have classics with that type of style fight, so that's why I'm going down the preference trail as well. I have Nitty 2-1 edge, but I see them both doing it at such a high level. Depends what you want to get out of battle rap, but one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and I don't want to, get into it because it's all somewhat speculation, but Nitty obviously said he might not be on URL and talking more in a free agent direction. And how I've always seen that for talents is that that involves you betting on yourself, not being under contract. Obviously, you're putting your brand out there, on a battle-to-battle basis with nowhere to kind of like fall back to. And I could see that being a motivating factor here. The first time he's been an underdog in a little, the eyes are on A-Ward. And, he does amazing in this battle, like a lot of us expect, maybe even wins this battle. That helps in negotiations. The price might go up a little bit. There might be some different talk. So I see an extremely motivated Nitty, and I have him 2-1 edge in the battle of the year up to this point.
Next.
Oh, all right. Did everybody go? I want to make sure everyone else went.
I believe so.
Talk to me.
So, I was rocking with a lot of what y'all say. I think that the main thing that we're all in agreement on, despite what we have winning, is that the battle will be close. I have to keep the same energy. I've said this for the past 2 years now, and it ain't going to change today. When I see Rum Nitty versus, I automatically say Rum Nitty 2-1. That's just is what it is. Rum Nitty is the greatest puncher of all time, the best puncher we probably will see in this generation. Even when you look at those new guys who punch at a high level and you make them, you make those Nitty comparisons, they're still not Nitty. Shout out to Av, shout out to Neck, shout out to Elijah Straight, et cetera, et cetera. These guys, I said Av, I meant to say Fine, sorry about that. But all those guys, like, they're great, it's still not Nitty. And the one thing that somebody mentioned, I don't know who, or it might have been mentioned a couple of times, Rum Nitty being an underdog, that's uncharted territory in recent memory. And the fact that his back is against the wall, the gentleman who was just speaking right before me stole my thunder. That tweet says a lot. That tweet, that y'all might not see me on URL for a while, etc., is 100%. I'm banking on myself. Geechee Gotti battled A-Ward in December. Personally, I had Geechee winning, but I understand I'm in the minority. A lot of people had A-Ward winning that battle. Cool. Geechee and Rum Nitty are brothers. Rest assured, if you beat Geechee Gotti in a battle, Rum Nitty is coming back for blood, and vice versa. You know what I mean? There are people, I know y'all don't want to hear this, there are people that say to beat Rum Nitty. So when Geechee battle twerk, you see how he came with that material. Stop laughing, big black. He'll beat shit out of him. We're not going there. Yeah, because you know what I was going to say. You don't want to talk about your man. I'm outside in October.
Yeah. Go ahead. You say something?
Yeah, anyway, as I was saying.
See, that's what happened. I put auto-tune on your stuff when you start talking crazy. I auto-tuned this man. Go ahead, though.
The feds got on Anwar.
Fix that.
Crazy.
That's tough.
You got the auto-tunes. You don't mention belovedhood. That's what you don't do. That's what happens. Auto-tuned him right up. Nope.
One thing I was gonna say is he's still talking. I'm sorry.
You gotta fix your mic, champ.
It's robotic. Yeah, it's robotic Anwar.
Your connection needs affection, Anwar.
I think
Yo, why does it say it says JC's pen requested to speak? What is going on in battle rap?
The pen of Julian.
Oh yeah, that's my man. That's my man. He on the team.
Yeah, he's cool.
Oh my god, this is
He might
real?
be a while out if he got up here, but he's cool people.
All right, can y'all hear me better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
All right. To surmise, at the end of the day, you don't put Rum Nitty in a back against the wall situation. I think A-Ward is on fire. Like I say, general consensus is that he beat Geechee. The clean performance. A lot of people have him having performance of the night on that GTX card, etc. So you factor all that in. And the one thing about Rum Nitty, I think this the riot setting for this event is something that Rum Nitty can cater to as well as A-Ward. That's the one thing that I think people don't realize. A-Ward is just as good in those small rooms, if not better, those small to mid-sized rooms, because that's where he honed his craft. We only seen A Ward in front of, a quote-unquote big stage 2 times in his career. And both of them were on max out. One battle, good battle that he won. Other battle, he won. But has anybody watched A Ward versus Rosenberg Raw a second time? Like
only his first round.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? So it's like he's got 2 big stage performances. You could say he won both of them, but only one is a quote-unquote good battle. I just think that and then when you look at Rum Nitty in those small rooms, we got the classic with Iron. We got him and Twerk was, basically a classic if that second round shuffle doesn't happen. Like, Rum Nitty he's just an alien. Man. I'm edging Rum Nitty. Whoever said it, I'm certainly not betting no Monopoly money on this either. It just is what it is. Like, it's not a battle that I think anybody's going to walk out of there able to confidently say, yeah, I got that battle, and have the masses agree. But that's also an A-Ward effect, too, because I think y'all got him losing 2 battles, XL and DNA, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, it's like, A-Ward.
Ilmac as well.
Yeah,
Ilmac as well.
Okay, good. I wanted to be sure about that. But yeah, so that's
y'all got him. Did an A-Ward and Sharon battle?
A-Ward,
yeah.
How did y'all call that?
Too. There's a theme here that I don't know if I should bring up or not.
All right.
Probably not. Probably not.
I'm just saying. If he battles Iron Solomon and Iron wins, I'm going to say it. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
my God.
If he battles Iron, when we go to
how did y'all call Sharon and A-Ward? I'm just asking.
He about to battle Mike Page.
I think that was
none.
About to battle.
Say less. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I was scared for a second because I thought like everybody was gonna pick A-Ward, which is cool. I mean, that kind of and it's crazy because like the percentage is still pretty much debatable in terms of 42-58 split. Yeah. It's pretty close to a 60-40 split, but we know how culture goes. But so it still predicates like a or it still pretty much displays a debatable battle. But I was just kind of scared for a moment because it was like only me and 2 other people that chose A-Ward. I mean, chose Nitty.
Yeah, me. Hey man, me you and who is it? Jay Strong.
Here.
No, but like I said, I would have picked Nitty up until the Rebuttals battle. The Rebuttals battle really did a lot for me in terms of seeing what the kind of the setting where Ward is able to show up for opponents that he really, really not only respects, but he knows are a big look for him in his career. And he spoke several times before that battle about how important that Rebuttals battle was to him. And I assume that based on everything that I've read and seen, that this is a similar thing with the Rum. He knows how big this plate is, and if he can write to that level of that second round, it's going to be an incredible battle, and it's going to be fire either way.
All right, that's how we got it. That's how we have it. A-Ward versus Rum Nitty, the Compendium. Of course, people might disagree with number here and there, but I think for the most part.
Wait a minute, Jay Black. I didn't hear your take.
I can repeat I've already said my take multiple times. I'll say it again though for you.
I missed it. I'm asking you to repeat it, please.
I'll repeat it for the 3rd time. Say less. Champion. It's your boy Jay Black, aka Black Man. Shake my hand. We are here. Come bearing gifts. It's going down. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is this weekend or next weekend?
Yeah, Saturday.
Is this this Saturday? Gosh. Am I out of tune with the dates? Rum Nitty versus A-Ward. Who does Jay Black have? If you haven't heard me say it for the first 3 times, here it is for the 4th time. I have A-Ward winning in a close battle. If I had it percentage-wise, I would do 52%, 48 in favor of A-Ward. Like I said before, he has to bet on himself. Same way y'all say Rum Nitty got to bet on himself. Nitty is always going to have a place. Shout out to his talents is that high. And I feel like this could be in the renegotiation tactic. That's just me, though. I think if you go back in the in the history of things, you can see a similar situation happening. But no one, digs deep in the crates. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm leaving it alone. It is what it is.
Doesn't A-Ward always... I
No,
mean...
we're talking about a situation. No, we're talking about someone saying, I'm not going to battle on you. You might not see me in URL anymore. If you go back into the files... You'll see a recurring theme. I'll leave it alone. It is what it is. You probably won't. Who knows? It could be different this time. But A-Ward has to bet on himself every single battle. On top of that, you can't lose to Nitty. You know what they're going to say? Oh, you finally faced a guy that's a high-level Euro comp person, and you lost. That's going to be the running theme if he loses to Nitty. When you face actual comp, when you face strong comp, you lose.
Which would be a lazy take.
Which it would be. But battle rap is filled with lazy takes.
No, you're
Come on.
Correct.
Battle rap is filled with a whole bunch of lazy takes. We ain't go to that.
But not champion gold.
That's a fact.
I mean, wouldn't that be? I'll put it this way. You might be right because I know you're talking about the masses. I know if you, Mark, Dree, or Rita try to get that off, it's
not at all.
nasty out here.
I would have said he battled Geechee. I would have said he battled Ill Will. I would have said he battled Rosa Marie. I would bring up names like that. That's what I would say.
Right, exactly. And at the end of the day, I hear what you're saying. He does always have to battle himself, but then again, not really, because, and this is literally just for argument's sake, when you, and again, I'm not trying to be smart when I say this, when you don't have a home, you always have somewhere to go. Like,
but if you do have a home, you always have somewhere to go. So what we saying now?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Rum Nitty gonna be Rum Nitty no matter what. Agreed. Like, that's what I'm saying. If Rum Nitty goes,
Rum Nitty got a hold on. Rum Nitty got a mansion, a doghouse, and a backyard. Bro, this Geechee Gotti league can be his league too. That could be his home too. Like, who you talking about?
I can't even say publicly what I want to say, so I'm gonna just say check your phone, and then we go, oh, say less. You're right.
Okay. This is behind the scenes talk. My fault, y'all. I hate when we do have to do this.
And we're bringing personals.
It's a lot of things behind the scenes that it is what it is. But I would say again, I think he got a place. But that's just the optics, the overall optics. Now within the actual battle, again, the rebuttaling factor, the structured factor. You know what I'm saying? Again, I think Nitty's gonna come in there and do what he does. But the structured factor, the tailored factor, everything I write is strictly for you. I can't bring this to no one else. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, hold on. Now he's sending me a message. I want to say less. I know about that too. Hold on. But that's and it's actually 6. It's 6, not 4, 6. But go ahead. I'm go ahead.
All right, well, all right, whatever. Either way, like, I think, and when you think about him making that tweet, it's really a matter of, knowing things and knowing that he also has been, I mean, if we want to be technical here, he might be a little tired of always being the favorite and having that moving goalpost. Bro, if I'm trying to think of somebody mid-tier puncher. If Rada said half the stuff Rum Nitty said to Swamp, I guarantee people will be saying, how come Rada ain't getting the Summer Madness plate? It's the fact that Rum Nitty says the most crazy stuff every time that it's almost not crazy anymore coming from him. That's the thing, man. Like, Rum Nitty is graded on a curve, and it's an imbalanced curve. I'm sorry. I can't wait till champion, because I can't wait to look you in your face and you say A Ward 2-1. I don't believe. I think you're saying that for Twitter. I said that. So I genuinely believe that at this point. I had to think about it.
You said that on Twitter. No, I got a slight edge to A Ward.
I understand. And like I said,
prediction.
I'm not. There will be no ice cream bet on this one. I'm not, because A Ward, like, I got Rum Nitty, and how I always say, I see Rum Nitty versus I pick Rum Nitty. But this is definitely a 51-49, 52-48 kind of thing. Like, that's really what it is. I will say, I have never seen Rum Nitty with this level of promo, bro. With the hat.
I just peeped it.
Are you kidding me?
I'm trying to keep my pick the same. I don't want to switch.
Are you kidding me?
He don't be talking. I'm gonna keep my pick the same though.
Exactly.
What happens in the first round if A-Ward comes out and try to dilute what Nitty does? Like, even impersonation, you're gonna do this. You're gonna have a whole bunch of A-Ward flips. What happens if he does that in the first?
That's what I'm saying.
Can he stop it?
You can't. Nobody can do what Nitty does. When people try, what's funny? When people try to do what Nitty does, Nitty shows the levels.
I'm thinking about this battle between two like really good battle rappers, two MCs, and I rock with both of these guys heavily. But this guy was like a Brock Lesnar. He was crazy. But when Charlie Clips, pretty much watered down the bow, it took some steam out of the other person he was battling. Ammunition and shit like that. So I'm just trying to see if. Huh?
I've been there before.
Huh?
I've been there before.
What happened? You good?
Really listen.
What's up? How you doing? You okay?
Go to war.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, when you talk about on the biggest stage, I mean, there's nothing bigger than battling in front of the biggest artists in the world. We're talking about Drake here for the record. And, I've seen some people just be tired. I guess maybe it depends on what time they battle. I don't know. There's different factors that, can affect.
Are you full of shit? You so full of shit.
I'm just saying.
You're going to hop into this executive suite and be so full. Look at you, full of shit.
One thing I wanted to say in regards to Nitty, I feel like another important piece could just be the fact that maybe he's also hasn't really gotten major place that he's wanted since the Hollow battle. He's called out Averb, that didn't happen. He's called out Calico, called out a couple other people, and I feel like he's reaching a certain point to where like he's not being challenged. I mean, because you got to think like he's battled None in a 1-rounder. Then he battled Danny in a rematch, which is just that's like fan service for the culture, right? You know what I'm saying? Does the tournament or whatever, and it was and if I'm not mistaken, he was a fill-in for the tournament. He wasn't even initially supposed to be in there, correct? He was supposed to be twerk. So that's correct. Keep going. So I think that this ultimately comes down to him wanting bigger opportunities, continuing to advance up the ladder and get a chance to really push himself to a higher degree.
I'm gonna keep it 1,000.
If he's not getting those opportunities that he wants on URL, which I don't know the behind the scenes stuff you guys do, but I do think it's a matter of being challenged.
I'm gonna keep it 10,000. I'm gonna keep it 1,000,000. I'm gonna keep it 1 billion. I'm gonna keep it 1 trillion. Nitty, you supposed to tweet that after the Drake event, bro. You supposed to tweet that after. I'm saying too much. Let me fall back. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to tweet that if you ain't get what you needed.
No, he can't tweet that after the Drake event, bro. I mean, it's public knowledge, but I'm still not gonna say. But everybody knows Drake went out there and was just having some fun with some money at that day.
That's what I'm saying. You supposed to wait. You supposed to wait until that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can't because I mean, respectfully, as far as I know,
if you didn't get picked for that, he got picked. He got picked for the last one. He battled Rex the last time.
What I'm saying is, it's not like you getting that anywhere else. That's the point. So it's like you say, all right, you might not see me on the URL stage no more. Well, where else you gonna go and get that? Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't exist anywhere else.
The Riot.
So come on. Shout out to the Riot. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, if they could, and then we get into the particular, we get into the business. If you cut a situation where you get paid a percentage as opposed to upfront money, it's possibilities. If they both promo, so I mean, again, you don't see Nitty promo a lot, right? You see him promo now,
right?
Maybe.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that can make you a good amount of money.
And there's definitely other leagues out there that I know would probably be willing to throw a bag if he hits the free agency market. I mean, at the end of the day, it's been a very long time since we consistently have seen Rum Nitty on other stages. And there is a good chance of somebody, maybe RB stepping in and taking one of those top names. I know Calico and Hitman both get booked, fair over there. It seems like they do good business. I know RB isn't throwing a big stage event this year, but you can see the stars aligning. We're just off of him being off URL. That sells a big battles. But we'll just see how it goes. It could just be negotiation tactics. I've seen a lot of battlers blow smoke, and he might be on URL in 2 months. So who knows?
Again, go through the files. No one wants to do research in this culture. I mean, it's crazy. Just go back to old interviews. And you'll see a recurrent thing, which is smart. It's smart. I'll leave it at that. It's smart. I'll probably do the same shit too. It is what it is.
Negotiate off the competition.
But that's pretty much. We got any closing thoughts about this?
I don't know if Detroit Dave was serious last thing, but he said he'll bet on a JC Surf battle and
talk.
I'm trying to talk.
Monopoly money.
In the DMs. We can talk Monopoly money in the DMs.
Speak your piece.
Here we go. Y'all betting Monopoly money. Y'all good to go, but Hey, man, y'all value members of the community. At this point, shout out to the executive suite. Y'all gonna do something. I just want to hear about it. That's all, so I can hold somebody accountable.
Oh yeah.
And come back in the space. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
hey man, listen.
I come out there with 50. I got 50 Monopoly money right now.
I'm about to just let y'all know right now. Can everybody hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Listen, man. I'm from Detroit, bro. I stand on anything that I say, bro. So if I said I got JC 2-1, I said I got JC 2-1. What's up?
I got 50 on Surf. I got 50 on Surf 2-1 with Monopoly money. What you want to do?
Yeah. Those blue 50s from Monopoly will come in handy for me. I mean, we can talk. Who's this I'm speaking to? My bad.
This is Justin the life coach. So check your DM. I already DM'd you.
That's a bet. Hey, yo, man, I'm really disappointed, man, because I was trying not to say nothing, and I'm looking at this compendium, the results, and some of these ranges are just ridiculous, bro.
This is for A-Ward and Nitty or Surf and JC?
No, man, Surf and JC, bro. Like,